Hello and welcome back to the Alcohol-Free RV. Today we're going to try to solve a problem with losing items into these gaps between our washer and the wall. We've had a couple of experiences now where items such as our detergent or other items that we had sitting on top of the washer, when it gets out of balance, they like to walk and fall down. We also have, all these items in the pantry above. So sometimes when we're getting some of these small items, if you drop that, it's going to fall down and fall into the nether. So the goal here is to put a shelf in. I'll attach it to this piece of shelf on the bottom, put some appropriate supports around it, and basically span the entire width so that these gaps are filled. And hopefully that will solve our problem of losing items down below. The first thing that I need to do is I've already pre-measured. So the distance between the walls is actually exactly 3 feet, which I found to be convenient. I created a template because the wall inside here is actually at an angle, and so I cut a template out of cardstock or construction paper or whatever we had around, and then I'll be able to cut the shelving exactly to that length with that angle, and it's going to cover up the entirety of this gap. So without further ado, we'll go outside, we'll start making our cuts, and then we'll get to assembly. So here's the template I was talking about. Basically, I just took this piece of paper and created a fold right where it's going to line up into that corner, and then put down some masking tape so I don't damage the surface of that. Made my measurement and just placed the template on there like that, traced it. So I've got a line here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out with a jigsaw. So I decided to go with a melamine product. It's going to be easy to clean, if we spill anything on there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this cut going. All right, so I'll try to test fit this in here. I got a 10-inch piece. It should just barely fit. And it fits barely side to with the depth, and seems pretty much okay. The wall's a little bit not straight on that side, but I've got a nice tight fit. That should be plenty to get this secured kind of the way I want. And I'll just have to figure out how I'm going to put some sort of bracket or whatever to hold it on the bottom of this. So I'm going to use the old standby. This is aluminum angle bracket. This is a 3-foot piece, 3/4 inch thick. It's about the same thickness as the melamine board, and it's 1/16 of an inch thick. So I'll drill a number of holes across the back of this, and then I should be able to get it in here. It's going to be snug, which is good, but once I get those holes drilled, I'll be able to put some screws in and secure it against the existing shelf. So I drilled some pilot holes into the angle bracket, spaced them nearly a foot apart. So I've got 4 holes in this 3-foot section of the angle bracket. Now I found these screws that I think are going to do a pretty good job for me. They are called cabinet screws. They're number 8, 1.5 inches. They have a T15 bit that it uses. The bit's included in in the actual box, and they are self-drilling. So now my pilot holes aren't quite as big as the number 8 screw, but that should give me enough so that I can put the screw in, get everything lined up, and short it down. I did a test to see how well these screws actually go through the aluminum, and it worked out perfectly. So I don't have any doubts that this is going to suit the need that we have here. I've got this lined up with the very bottom of the existing shelf, and so that should allow the screw to penetrate both the face frame that you can see here, and then also the supports that actually hold up the shelf itself. So there's another bit of blocking back there, so that should give it plenty of meat to bite into. The bit that they give you, kind of fancy, pink, anodized. Yeah, the screw isn't coming through any of the material, so not that anyone's going to be sticking their hand under there or anything, but should be in good shape as far as pointy safety is concerned. So we'll just drive the other 3 screws in. Seems to be in there pretty sturdy. I mean, the whole weight is going to be balanced across that, but I'm leaning on that pretty good. Let's see how this goes. Alright, so the shelf is kind of at an angle right now because it's really tight in this corner, but again, I don't really want this shelf going anywhere, so I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to put some brackets now, again, with the angle bracket, the aluminum pieces, back on the front sides, and possibly the edges as well, so that I can have support along this edge. So put a bracket on the bottom sides there. So I cut my 2 little pieces, labeled them left and right, pre-drilled my pilot holes in the ends of those already. So we're ready to go ahead and install them. In order to make sure that I get these things as level as possible. Better than that, a level. So I already confirmed that the floor is level. We are in fact level, so I can just go ahead and mark these with the level and get them installed. Now I am installing them. If we take a closer look, so as I install them, as I install them, I'm actually going to be sitting it on the bracket that I already put there, and then hopefully screwing into something solid here in the corner. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the side that's going to sit on this shelf first. Now I'm glad that I got this on here, because I don't know if you noticed, the clutch on the drill did not engage, which means I only got into the board. There's no stud back there. So having that extra support on this end is going to be a really good thing. hopefully I hit something on the other side. If not, then I'll have to figure something out. Perfect. Got that. You heard the clutch engage, which means I did in fact get into the stud that's on the outside here. And just feeling on the other side, I did not poke through. So that's good. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side now. So the same thing happened here. Didn't get sucked all the way in because, again, no stud here. It's hard to tell, you know, on these outside walls that are filled with styrofoam insulation. But again, sitting on that bracket, the existing bracket here, so not too concerned. And then do the same thing, level it out. It does not seem that I actually caught on to anything other than drywall, the board, and the foam. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna deal with that. But let's see if we can test fit. I've got the board in place, but as you can see, it's not sitting all the way down. So reason being is the screws that didn't quite go in all the way are creating a challenge there. So I'm gonna have to trim out sections just to make it so that the board will drop all the way down onto the shelving. Actually, two issues now that I think about it. So I took the original measurement for the length of the shelf to be all the way up to the butt of this wall. I did not account for the width of the actual brackets that I was going to use to hang the shelf. So that created the first problem and why things didn't fit. So I went outside, cut off, you know, a blade or two with the jigsaw. So it went ahead and fits down in there now, but I still had the issue of the screws. So as you can see in this corner, I just notched that out so that it was going to be able to support that screw, and the lack of squareness to the whole camper, I guess, is allowing this screw to fit just fine, and I kind of notched this corner out as well. So I mean, I can't really shift the shelf sideways so much, so I think that's a good thing. I've got it popped down in there. I mean, it will come out. I mean, it's not, I don't have it screwed in or anything at this point, but what I'd like to do is, in order to prevent items from slamming into the glass door while we're in transit, I'd like to be able to keep these items, you know, on here while we're in transit. So I'm going to create a lip much like this along the front edge, so that, you know, we can still keep the food and everything separate. We can move things out of the way. And the other thing that putting a lip on the front of it's going to do is prevent flex. So I've got a piece of another piece of melamine board or something that I'll be able to mount to the top of this, and I think I'm going to use pocket screws for that all the way across the front of here, and that should give me the support I need and the protection for the door. So first things first, I need to cut the piece of wood that's going to act as that front end guard. I'm going to put the rounded edge up front just for visual appeal. Now I get to use the Craig jig. Thanks, yes. Makes marks, make 5 fine. 30 in the park. eyeballing it. For this might be perfect. So so it's not too tight enough here. Then the other here. There we go. Push in place. We got it. I'm good. Okay, nicely. So as I mentioned earlier, when I put the metal bracket in there, I didn't hit something solid. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and put a screw in through here. There should be something solid in here. Sounds like there is. So I'm just going to take one screw and put it in that side, and that'll kind of help hold up some of the weight of this front corner. It's probably overkill, but I'd rather be overkill than have things falling apart on the road. Kudos to the construction of these RVs. So this side, dead flat up against the wall. Now this is a straight 10-inch board, and I've got a gap. So I might just get a small piece that I can kind of put in here, drop in this gap, and then screw this to that board. There's the extra block that I put in. Also fills that gap. The cord for our vacuum still is loose, so that's a healthy situation. Got one screw here, so if I ever do need to get to where I need to take the dryer washer unit out, 2 screws, this whole shelf is going to come out, and should be good to go. There you go. I think that looks pretty darn good. And it's level, still leaves plenty of gap for the air movement, and meets everything that this washer dryer unit needs. So I'm going to call that a done job. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. My name's Todd from the Alcohol Free RV, and we've got more mods, upgrades, adventures, and repairs along the way. See you next time.